Hi there, this is Lynn Dipple. I'm the author of Trilingual by 6, which is quite simply the best, most helpful, most unique book ever written on how to raise multilingual children. Today, I want to show you how to use Craigslist, which is an online classified ad system worldwide, to show you how to find language babysitters to help your children learn the languages you choose. Let's say, for purposes of argument today, that you live in Wichita, Kansas, and you want your child to learn Spanish. Let me show you now how Craigslist can help you find Spanish speakers. First, we have to go to Craigslist. So from your search engine, you just type in Craigslist. And it will tell you how to get there. I've already logged on to my Craigslist account, so I will take you there. I just wanted to do it that way so I don't have to share my logon information with you. So I'll take you over there, and since I'm from San Antonio, it defaults me to the San Antonio Craigslist. But since we're assuming that we're in Wichita, we will go there now. So down in the lower right, where you see my cursor, choose U.S. states. Next, find Kansas, and then choose Wichita. And that will take us to Craigslist's Wichita main page. First, we want to go to Services. So click here on Services. And over in the upper left, make sure that you have the Search Titles Only box off, and also the Search Nearby City Areas off. You don't want to search merely the titles because we're going to be looking for keywords within the text of these ads, not just in the titles. And we don't want to search nearby areas because we're not interested in everything within a 100-mile radius or a 200-mile radius. We want to know what's available to us closer by. So make sure those are off. Now, from the services area you see here, let's type in a term that might help us, such as babysitter Spanish. Let's see if we'll get lucky today. Nope, nothing in Wichita, Kansas listed under those terms. Let's try a few more. What about nanny Spanish? Still nothing. How about childcare Spanish? And here we have a hit or two. And these childcare providers are advertising that they speak Spanish, which could be helpful to us. We could explore those and see what we find. And let's do one more. Let's do daycare Spanish. And we again have some more hits. This is some person who's offering handyman services. And if we were to go there, I think we would probably find that this person has a spouse or another member of the household who's willing to do babysitting, cleaning, housework of whatever kind. Most likely that would be what that's about. So maybe a few possibilities there. Now let's go back to the Wichita main page by clicking here on this little CL icon, and it takes us back to our start. Now let's choose for sale, noting that we're still in the Wichita area in this classified ads page. Now we're going to for sale. Now we're not so much looking for child care providers or babysitters as we are just looking for people who might speak Spanish, our interested language. Let's get rid of all these pictures and simply choose list here where you see my cursor. Now let's type in Español, which you might know is the Spanish word for Spanish. We don't have the ability to use tildes here, but that's okay. Craigslist will help us out. And we find a bunch of stuff that's for sale, none of which we're terribly interested in, but let's click a few of these and see what we find. Let's try four-wheeler. There's a four-wheeler advertised for sale for $500, and for some reason it falls out with Español. Ah, here we go. The seller is making it known to us that they speak Spanish. If we wanted to, we could perhaps contact this seller and see if the seller might know of someone who would be interested in helping us find a Spanish-speaking babysitter, or see what they know about a local Spanish-speaking community. Odds are pretty good they'd know something. Let's try one more. What about a white Kenmore washer for sale? Let's see about that. Same thing. Someone's advertising a washer for sale, and they're making it known that they speak Spanish. So that person might be able to help us find a way to contact other Spanish speakers, and eventually, through trial and error, we could probably find someone to help us babysit our children in the target language. Let's try one more little trick now. Back here, let's try typing in a common Hispanic name, maybe Miguel. And here's a person named Miguel who's selling a Rogers organ. We probably don't need an organ today, but we note that the seller's name is Miguel. Maybe Miguel could help us get in contact with the local Hispanic population. Let's try one more. What about Maria? Some of these might be helpful, others might not. Most likely this person who's trying to sell their Pontiac Bonneville is named Maria, and the odds are pretty good that they speak Spanish. We could contact Maria if we were so inclined. So I hope that helped a little bit. Now let's go back to the Wichita main page by clicking here, and let's assume that we want to post an ad. Maybe we want to post an ad seeking a Chinese babysitter or some such. So we come here and click on Post to Classifieds, and it asks for what type of ad we're posting. Let's say we want to offer some type of job. We want to find someone to speak Chinese with our child. So we click on that. It takes us to this disclaimer saying that we will abide by whatever guidelines that Craigslist wishes us to abide by. And then it takes us to a page where we could further categorize our ad. Let's say we want to place our ad in education teaching. We could also try general labor, but I think in terms of finding a multilingual babysitter, education teaching would be better. And in fact, that is what has worked best for us in the past. So we click on that. It takes us to a page where we can fill out the text of our ad. Very good. Now let's go back to Wichita main page. Now let's take a slightly different approach. Let's say we have a child who's learning Russian, and we want that child to have an online tutor, a Skype tutor, which you will probably find as you read the book is a common occurrence nowadays. So we need to leave Wichita, and we're going to come down to Craigslist Worldwide, CL Worldwide. We click on that. We want to go to Europe because we're trying to get to Russia. And here we find Russia. Clicking on that, we see that the only Craigslist page in Russia is Moscow. That works just fine. Now let's say we want to see if we can find a tutor of some type to tutor or to talk with our child in Spanish. So we'll start out on services, and let's just try tutor. And in fact, there are some offerings here, and we could explore those as much as we like. Now let's try simply Russian. Here we have some more Russian lessons with a native speaker, learn Russian online, etc., etc. You get the idea. We could probably find someone for a reasonable price in Moscow to speak with our child by online conferencing. So now let's go back, and next, let's say we happen to reside in Seoul, South Korea, and we're looking for someone to come and speak with our child in English because we would like very much for our child to learn English. So over on the right, we're going back to Craigslist Worldwide. Let's choose Asia, and then come down to South Korea. And here we are. Now we're going to look for services. And let's try maybe babysitter. Here we go. I can be your translator, interpreter, babysitter, and tour guide. Let's see if we find anything there that looks interesting. It's an 18-year-old person who's Korean, probably learned English in the schools, who's willing to help with English. That would probably be someone who might be willing to babysit your child and speak to them in English. This person is expecting to go to U.S. University soon. Probably would like to brush up on their English. Now let's try nanny. Here we go. We have quite a few. Let's go down to this bottom one and have a look at that. Here we find a Filipino lady who's willing to work as a housekeeper. And as you may recall from the text of the book, some 65% of all Filipinos do speak English. There is a fair expectation that this person is not only interested in doing some housekeeping, but also knows English fairly well. So this is someone we might call. Just for fun, maybe we could try housekeeper English. Oops, spelled it wrong. Not anything there, but anyone who posts on Craigslist, since it's an English-speaking web page for the most part, will probably know English. So we would have a pretty good expectation that we could find someone to speak English on Craigslist. Anyway, I hope this helps, and as we go through the text of the book, I'll show you a few more tricks along these lines which I think will enlighten you a little bit more.